From a frustrating Tuesday stuck in traffic in the mortal realm, Sophia has accidentally wandered into magnificent Olympus, and even been invited to a ball by Eros, the god of love himself. This fateful encounter has opened a new chapter full of surprises, as Psyche, Sophia's mortal guise, accepts Eros's invitation for a date. But little does she know that behind the dazzling aura of that charming god, a chaotic backstage operation is unfolding on Mount Olympus. Eros's mischievous love assistant team, along with the god himself fumbling with girl-wooing handbooks learned online, are frantically preparing for Operation Win the Heart of the Mortal Muse. How will this first date between a god and a mortal unfold? What hilarious and chaotic situations await Psyche and Eros? Olympus's Grand Hall, the backstage area of the magnificent Celebrating Love Festival, had just seen its curtains fall. The lingering strains of melodious music still hung in the air, but now the space had given way to an atmosphere of organized chaos. A group of gods who called themselves Team Eros's love assistants were gathered around a marble table, their faces as tense as drawn bowstrings. All right, settle down everyone. Hermes, the swift messenger god, clapped his hands, drawing everyone's attention. We have a mission impossible on our hands, comrades. Our very own god Eros, for the first time in Olympus history, has set his sights on a mortal. The gaggle of cherubic love deities collectively oohed in excited unison, their tiny wings fluttering wildly. Even Zeus, the old hand, raised an eyebrow, his expression revealing a mixture of curiosity and amusement. A mortal, a chubby little love god still clutching a toy bow and arrow, asked with an innocent tone, "What's so great about mortals? We have goddesses in Olympus, beautiful and powerful galore." "That's precisely the point of not great, kiddo," Hermes winked mischievously. "Our god Eros, he's bored with all things great and divine. He wants to try something different to woo a girl who's ordinary, simple, no frills or fancy stuff." But another cherubic love god chimed in, looking worried. "We don't have a handbook for wooing mortal girls, do we? Up until now, god Eros just heart zaps everyone willy-nilly. He's never needed to woo anyone." "Indeed, a tricky problem," Zeus nodded in agreement, stroking his long white beard. "Eros here has battle experience with goddesses aplenty, but experience wooing mortals is truly a blank slate." The group of deities fell silent, the atmosphere becoming heavier than ever. What to do, how to help the god of love woo a mortal woman when the gap between divine and mortal was so vast? Wait a minute, Hermes suddenly had an idea, his clever eyes lighting up. The bad boy approach might just work. Mortal girls are into those mysterious, cool, a bit edgy guys, right? Bad boy? The cherubic love gods exchanged puzzled glances. God Eros as a bad boy, he's as gentle as a lamb, how could he possibly be bad? No worries, practice makes perfect, Hermes grinned slyly. We'll transform god Eros into a genuine bad boy. First, we need to create an air of mystery. He has to be quiet for a bit, stop smiling and heart zapping all over the place. And then what? A curious cherubic love god asked. Then, ambiguous flirting, Hermes continued enthusiastically. He has to talk in a half-said way, hinting and implying, making her guess and wonder, dying of curiosity. But does god Eros even know what flirting is? Another cherubic love god asked hesitantly. Well, that, Hermes scratched his head, looking slightly stumped. I'll have to hold his hand and teach him later. While Hermes was busily lecturing on the art of flirting, divine version, the cherubic love gods started offering advice in their own childlike style. How about using magic? One cherubic love god suggested, eyes sparkling. We can use love magic to heart zap her, guaranteed to make her fall instantly. No, absolutely not, Hermes hastily shook his head. Eros's heart-zapping magic only works on deities. Mortals are immune. Besides, using magic to woo a girl is too obvious. It kills all the romance. Then how about using magic to mess up the date? Another cherubic love god came up with a new idea. We can turn the food into snakes, turn the flowers into caterpillars, making sure the date is unforgettable. Oh my heavens, you kids are only good at sabotaging things, Hermes sighed in exasperation. We're trying to woo a girl, not wreck a wedding. Please tone down the hyperactivity. It was Zeus, the old hand's turn to speak, his tone full of experience and infamy. You kids are still wet behind the ears, Zeus chuckled. To woo a girl, you have to be strong, decisive, attack relentlessly, just like me, battle-tested experience all over, no girl can resist. But your battle experience, sir, Hermes stammered, trying to choose his words carefully. It's mostly infamous, not famous, Sir Zeus. Silence, Zeus glared, slamming his hand on the table. Do you dare question my experience? Let me tell you, girls need to be impressed, overwhelmed, subdued. Impressed, overwhelmed, subdued, the cherubic love gods mumbled, their expressions even more bewildered. Sounds kind of like coercion. While Team Eros's love assistants were brainstorming ideas that were going nowhere, God Eros was wrestling with another mortal wooing handbook, even more Canada-level fake, the internet. Tips for wooing mortal girls, 1001 ways to make her fall head over heels, ultimate girl-getting tricks. Dozens of clickbait titles flashed on Eros's magic tablet screen, making his head spin. Flirt with frog poems, Eros frowned, reading an article. Give immortal glowing roses, he read another, his expression growing more confused. Date at a street food stall, he continued, scrolling down, feeling more and more mentally derailed. Are these tips reliable? Eros muttered, looking doubtfully at Hermes. Why do I see only cheesy, outdated, or useless tricks? Just give them a try, sir, Hermes shrugged. Mortals love that cheesy stuff. Besides, the internet is humanity's treasure trove of knowledge. There must be some legit tips in there. Eros was skeptical but still decided to learn a trick or two online. He started planning his first and possibly last date with Psyche, with the enthusiastic advice of Team Eros's love assistants and the Canada-level fake mortal wooing handbook from the internet. What about date gifts, sir? A cherubic love god asked, looking expectant. What will God Eros give to Miss Psyche? Gifts, huh? Eros pondered for a moment, then smiled confidently. I will give her immortal glowing roses, guaranteed to make her crazy in love. Immortal glowing roses, Hermes grimaced. Sounds a bit creepy, Sir Eros. No worries, gotta be impressive. Eros waved his hand dismissively, looking determined. Besides, I've also prepared heirloom divine jewelry. This is one of a kind, priceless. Heirloom divine jewelry, Zeus raised an eyebrow, looking dubious. You planning to give her Hades's hellhound leash bracelet? No, not that, Eros quickly shook his head. I'm planning to give her my eternal light necklace. This necklace has the power to ward off evil spirits, protect its wearer from all dangers. God Eros, Hermes sighed, looking helpless. We're going on a date, not exorcising demons. Giving that necklace is a bit off, sir. Then, space travel tickets. Eros came up with another new idea, looking excited again. I'll give her space travel tickets. We'll stargaze together, explore the universe. Super romantic. Space travel tickets? The cherubic love gods gasped in unison, mouths agape in amazement. Sounds way too over the top, Sir Eros. Not over the top, not at all. Gotta go big to hook a girl. Eros remained firm in his idea. I've decided the date gifts will be immortal glowing roses, heirloom divine jewelry, and space travel tickets. Guaranteed Psyche will fall head over heels. While Eros was enthusiastically preparing disaster gifts, Hermes was wrestling with mortal dating culture, trying to decode the incomprehensible signals from Psyche. God Eros sent a flirty text to Miss Psyche, sir. A cherubic love god rushed in to report breathlessly, but she scene-zoned him. Scene-zoned, Eros frowned, looking puzzled. Scene is what, zone is what? Scene means she's seen it, zone means, well, she didn't reply, sir, Hermes explained, also looking a little worried. Looks like your flirting trick didn't work on mortals. Then make a phone call, Zeus spoke up, looking confident. Girls love hearing a man's voice. Just keep calling and attacking non-stop, guaranteed she'll fall immediately. Eros listened to Zeus, boldly called Psyche, but the result was even more disastrous than scene zoning. She blocked your number, sir. The cherubic love god rushed in to report again, his face pale. She blocked your phone number completely. Blocked number. Eros was dumbfounded, looking totally shocked. Blocked number, what is that? Why would she block me? Blocked number means she doesn't want to hear your calls anymore, sir, Hermes explained, his tone full of sympathy. Looks like your phone call trick also failed. Could it be mortals don't like gifts? Eros continued, struggling with mortal dating culture. I've prepared such awesome gifts already, why is she still unmoved? Let me try giving gifts to her myself, Hermes offered, looking determined. I'll use divine speed to ship the gifts right to her door, see if she changes her mind. Hermes swiftly shipped Eros's disaster gifts to Psyche's house, but just a moment later he returned looking utterly humiliated, carrying a package of gifts that had been returned mercilessly. She returned your gift, sir, Hermes bowed his head, his voice as soft as a mosquito's buzz. She even texted back a message, cheesy, creepy, stop bothering me. Cheesy, creepy, Eros completely collapsed, looking heartbroken. What did I do wrong? I just wanted to give her gifts. All right, God Eros. Hermes patted Eros on the shoulder, trying to comfort him. Looks like wooing mortal girls is 100 times harder than wooing goddesses indeed, but don't be discouraged, we still have the date ahead. Eros sighed, looking up at the star-filled Olympus sky. The first and possibly last date with Psyche was approaching, and he felt both excited and terrified. Could he survive this dating disaster and conquer the heart of the mortal muse Psyche, or was it all just a classic rom-com disaster waiting to unfold? While Team Eros's love assistants were brainstorming ideas that went nowhere and God Eros was wrestling with the Canada-level fake mortal wooing handbook, let's jump over to the perspective of Psyche, the mortal muse who was unwittingly becoming the target of the god of love's affections. Psyche, a beautiful and intelligent young woman, lived a simple life in the mortal world. She loved reading books, strolling in flower gardens, and daydreaming about romantic things. However, she was also quite practical and somewhat skeptical about love, especially after witnessing the noisy and short-lived relationships around her. One beautiful morning, Psyche was sitting reading a book in her favorite cafe when her phone buzzed. A text message from an unknown number. Hello, it's Eros, the god of love from Olympus. I've had my eye on you for a while now. Psyche frowned, staring at her phone screen. God of love from Olympus, another ridiculous prank, she thought to herself, intending to block this number immediately. But then, a strange curiosity arose within her. God of love from Olympus sounded kind of crazy, but also very intriguing. Psyche decided to see what this divine being wanted. She texted back, her tone somewhat sarcastic. Oh, God of love from Olympus, is it? Honored to be eyed by a god. What does a deity want with a small, insignificant mortal like me? A reply message came almost instantly. I want to woo you, I want to go on a date with you, I want to get to know you. Psyche burst out laughing. Woo me, date, get to know me. This divine being seemed even more naive than she had imagined, but that naivety made her feel something a little bit endearing. She continued texting, still maintaining a sarcastic tone. Oh really, how do you plan to woo me, heart-zap me like other gods do? Eros replied, his tone sounding a bit hesitant. No, heart-zapping, I want to woo you in a mortal way. I've read mortal girl wooing tips on the internet, you know. Psyche couldn't help but laugh again. Mortal girl wooing tips on the internet, oh my god, this deity is something else. But within Psyche's laughter, a hint of softening was creeping in. She began to feel intrigued by this strange divine being. And so, Psyche decided to give him a chance. She agreed to go on a date with Eros just to see how this god of love from Olympus would woo her. Little did she know that this let's see decision would plunge her into a classic rom-com disaster that she could never have imagined. And so, while Team Eros's love assistants continued their brainstorming sessions that were hilariously missing the mark, and God Eros meticulously planned his date based on questionable internet advice, Psyche found herself on the cusp of a truly unique evening. Little did she know that her agreement to a simple date had set in motion a chain of events that would be anything but ordinary. As she prepared for her night out, a nagging feeling of unease mixed with a strange sense of excitement began to bubble within her. What kind of date could the god of love possibly have in store? Would it be a night of mythical romance or a comedy of errors of epic proportions? One thing was certain. Psyche was about to embark on a dating experience that would be unlike anything she, or perhaps even Olympus, had ever seen before. The stage was set for a date night destined to be either a legendary romance or, more likely, a spectacularly unforgettable fail.